'Tis the season, let it snow. Arcum's Astrolabe coming to a vintage video near you. Welcome back, vintage gamers, to a preliminary event. 4 rounds of Magic versus the best players on the platform. I have a little brew here, a little fun PO outing. This started as an attempt to play Arcum's Astrolabe and Field of Ruin. I was really impressed with Field of Ruin in my latest mill video. Check that out if you haven't seen it already. But just turns out I wanted to play Painter, right? And you just can't fit enough cards to play 60-card Painter in vintage if you want to play blue and play Force of Will. The blue count just never gets high enough. You have too many artifacts, too many red creatures. Like, you could cut some red creatures here, but they're kind of the whole point. They're kind of the fun part about playing Painter in my mind. Playing the 8 Goblin package is really enjoyable to me. So instead of playing Painter, I decided, well, Time Vault Key is basically Painter Grindstone anyways, so why don't we just cut the Painter and try to play some blue cards. So we cut the Painter from the deck, and I put in 4 blue cards in the form of Paradoxical Outcome. Add a little power to the deck, but most of the time probably just being pitched to Force of Will. We're still on the low end on the blue count, like 19 or something, but enough. So I've got this interesting little Welder combo deck with 8 Goblins. I am playing 4 Field of Ruin, and I am playing 4 Arcum's Astrolabe. And we're going to let it snow. We're going to play some snow-covered islands. There is another thing worth noting that they fixed, at least I think they did. How do you say this? They improved the mana system on Magic Online so that it doesn't automatically eat your snow mana, which was a problem when we used to play Astrolabe PO in the past. If you had a bunch of mana floating, you couldn't choose to PO with the non-snow mana so that you could replay your Astrolabe with the snow mana. But that should be fixed now. I don't think it got reverted, but I haven't been keeping track of that exactly. So hopefully we got a little buff to Arcum's Astrolabe and Paradoxical Outcome here. This deck does have PO in it. I'm not really sure you can call it like a dedicated PO deck. It's kind of just has PO as a blue card to make sure you can pitch to Force. But definitely is good in this deck, right? It's still going to be picking up Astrolabes and all your Moxen and your Sensei's Top, so it's still a pretty nice little callback to classic Saga PO. This deck is almost actually a Lurrus deck, but I decided to keep it just base blue-red because we're trying to use these Field of Ruins and these Sagas. Our mana base is going to be kind of a mess. I'm hoping the Astrolabe, Lorien, Field of Ruins stuff makes it so you actually do have a basic a lot of the time, but we'll see if that actually is the case. I was gonna play just Field of Ruin and not Saga, but I decided that this is still a Saga deck. Even if you can't fetch Astrolabe off your Saga, you definitely still want Saga in your Welder, Engineer, Time Vault Key deck. One thing that this deck does miss out on is it doesn't have a Lurrus or a Yogg-Will to replay Vault Key. So if we get to that point where we have our Time Vault Key countered, we're gonna have to win with Citadel and Constructs. I didn't really consider that. Maybe this deck needs to splash a Yogg-Will, or it's probably just like an Underworld Breach or something. It actually, now that I look at it, is pretty similar to the Mark Tobias Breach PO deck. So I may end up regretting the fact that I don't have any recursion for my Vault Key. At one point, I had Vault Key, and I also had 1 Painter, 1 Grindstone. So maybe that's why I forgot to do that. But I think we can draw enough cards and put ourselves in a position where we should be able to win anyways. For those of you who don't know, Goblin Welder brings back artifacts from either player's side, so you can use Welder to kill opposing constructs, so I don't think we need Dress Down as much in this version. And then you also have the combo of Welder plus Engineer plus Artifact, lets you Engineer. Engineer can only return things that are 3 or less, but it can put any artifact in the yard, so we can actually put a Bullet Citadel in the yard and weld it into play. So we actually have a lot of Tinkers in this deck. We have a Sphinx and a Portal in the sideboard for those specific matchups where that will get even stronger. And then I also felt like, because we're going to play a Braid for Null Rod Collector Roof Archon, we actually have a really nice red count for Fury with our 8 Goblins. So I think there's a little upside here to not playing Lurrus, but obviously if our main plan is to win with Vault Key, then yeah. Though I guess you do still have Engineers and Welders to bring back Vault and Key. The only downside is, of course, if your Time Vault or Key gets negated. something to keep in mind. So, yeah, it should be pretty fun. I'm going to call the deck Let It Snow, and let's let it snow in round 1. Are you interested in weekly vintage metagame recommendations? Do you want to see your deck list played on my channel? Or maybe you are just looking for the best way to support my vintage content? Make sure you check out the Patreon link in the description below. Let's battle. All right, it's time to battle. They have a companion, it looks like. All right, what do I have? I've got a Field of Ruin, a Sapphire, a Saga. Can't play this Engineer, but I have Force and Tinker. Looks good. I mean, obviously this hand is great. Has Force, has Tinker. This hand would probably be a little bit worse if I didn't have a Mox, but definitely going to just lead on Saga and force them to have a Wasteland. Because if they don't have a Wasteland, then all I could have to do is just make creatures, and then we can Tinker later. Or we could Tinker depending on, like, I mean, it all depends on what they have, right? Let's see. Of course, if they have, like, a Bazaar or something, they have a Lurrus, obviously, so they probably don't. But if they have, like, their own Saga, we could always Field of Ruin their Saga as well. Field of Ruin gets both players a basic, but their deck should only be on 1 basic. Ours should be on 4. Double Booble. Okay. If they didn't have a Sapphire, I'd be interested in jamming a Tinker. But if they have the ability to Flusterstorm, it gets a lot worse to jam a Tinker. Looks like they've got the Wasteland. Does mean we need to draw something. A Spell Bomb. Sure. All right, and they're going to hold a Bauble. Interesting. So maybe this is 4-color turbo, 5-color death. No, there's a Wasteland, so it's probably just blue-black with a Spell Bomb. Any Mox in here is a great draw because we'll jam Tinker. It's another Saga. All right, well, we'll play another Saga. If they don't have a Wasteland already, they should probably just crack Bauble. They did know about it because they did look at our top card before. They're pausing a lot on this top card. I don't know if that means they've seen something interesting. Let's see if my opponent has another Wasteland. They have another Wasteland. Okay. Another Bauble. Just a lot of cycling. Now, if we jam Tinker, we don't even have this tapped out. Oh, they saw Field of Ruin, and now they're like, why is there a Field of Ruin? Fair enough. But the good news here is that we've got an opposing Saga matched. So another pause. So a pretty good draw for us might be something like an Engineer. That way we could go Field of Ruin, hit their land, and then play a Mountain and play it's not an Engineer, a Welder. Opponent's got on-color Moxen plus Underground Sea. Probably just puts Lurrus into hand and then starts looping Baubles. We'll have to probably force Lurrus. That's a 4th Bauble. All right, we're just going to jam Tinker here because it's not really getting better for us. My opponent knows my top card. They're tapped out. Oh, Arcum's Astrolabe, sure. That's actually pretty sweet here. Like, I could Field of Ruin their thing and then play an Astrolabe. I think they have 3 cards in hand and one of them is Lurrus. I'm pretty sure we're just supposed to jam Tinker here. Doesn't really get better for us the longer we wait. Negation, pitching negation, force pitching PO. They have Lurrus +1, so this resolves. The question is, how much can we even play off this Citadel before we brick? Starts with an Engineer. No, I need that top. Can I not search? I can not search. Ooh. I'm going to not search. Because we have a Sensei's top on top. And play a Sensei's top. All right, we know our opponent has got a Lurrus and 1. They had a Force of Will. They should have just drawn with this Bauble then. I And they were being a little conservative with this bobble, but if they had drew in double force, I mean, we're just super dead to double force, so. Oh, but now we've got an active top with a Citadel. Looks like a good spot to be in. All right. All right, Ancestral Recall. 12 life. Lorien Revealed. I think I would rather just draw through Lorien. I can draw 3 cards for 3 life instead of 5 life. Definitely playing our Time Vault and our Time Walk. All right, so now I can simply engineer a key to my yard. Have a Time Walk. All right, let's go to our next turn. Oh, they will have Forcible. I already have Forcible in my hand, though, so I don't have to worry about Forcible back up here at all. Oh, I guess I don't have to worry about Forcible at all because this is not on the stack. So even if, I'm just saying that I have Forcible if they had Forcible blue card here. So, all right. Sweet. Tinker is still broken. Noted. All right, so my opponent is maybe blue-black Lurrus. I don't know exactly what you're supposed to bring in this matchup. I like the idea of a Soul Guide Lantern. I kind of like the idea of a Braid. A Braid stops their Vault Key combo, kills their Bowmaster, kills a Lurrus. That might not be the game we're trying to play here, but I kind of think I want to cut Negation. If I want to cut Negation, I'm not going to have enough blue cards, so I kind of want to just cut Force. So maybe it ends up being like we just cut Force. It's a little interesting. Typically they can't kill this unless they have like Feed the Swarm or something. I don't know about like maybe boarding that in or boarding in Portal maybe. I don't know. I just think that these forces are going to not have enough blue cards. I want to take a negation, right? And I don't think I'm going to have enough blue cards afterwards. So like kind of think I just take out all the forces. The question becomes like, do I have Pyroblast? Like Pyroblast is going to... It doesn't kill any of their creatures. And it only counters like Forces Ancestral. I'm not actually sure that's good enough. Like, I don't think Fury is as good as having a Braid because this will cover me for like a Vault Key, right? I like this idea. I don't know if it's correct, but try it. All right, so this one has got a Saga, an Emerald, a Lorien, a Field. Yeah, I mean, this is a hand that grinds versus a Lurrus deck. Don't hate this. We are a little behind if they like lead Saga though, because we need 2 other mana to Field of Ruin them. We would be able to. That's a basic swamp. Interesting. So there's our basic island. So now we can hold this Lorien Revealed. I like. I'm not sure. I like the idea of time walking because time walking gets better as long as longer we wait with Saga. I still think I'm going to time walk though. Establish our blue mana early. Put us in a position where maybe we can PO. I'm not sure if this is correct, but it does feel like a reasonable option. It's just like time walk is so much better if I wait till like this next turn where I have an island and a Saga. Yeah, Citadel, not great. I do think I put in a one volcanic. Okay, I did put in one volcanic so that I could use my Lorien Reveal to get a red source if I needed it. Most of the time, I want to just use this Field of Ruin to get a red source. But I can't destroy a basic land with a Field of Ruin, so. I think I'd like to hold this Lorien Revealed as a castable here, because we currently don't have a lot going on. But if my opponent like wastelands me and passes, then like probably I'm just supposed to get, yeah, probably I'm just supposed to get a red source. So if I hit another Moxen, I have a nice little PO. Oh, Saga Gaming. Okay, well, we'll definitely make them have another wasteland. If they had an island to start, and then Wastelanding Saga would be good, because they could actually do stuff. Or even if they just had an off-color Moxen, so they can play like Bowmaster. Those would all work. But the fact that they have just a basic swamp, nothing else, awkward. So they found an underground sea. Do they have another wasteland, though? They do have a Saga of their own. And a... Okay. So Bob is very good here. So is Saga. So I think here I'm just going to go Field of Ruin, hit their Saga. Probably have a basic island if they have a basic swamp, right? Get a mountain and try to kill this Bob. Damn, basic island and basic swamp is really good against my Field of Ruin deck. If this Saga goes off, we can get a Black Lotus and cast a Citadel too. Probably making a construct, though, considering my opponent's deck is not very good against constructs. I just decided that I wanted to make sure that they didn't have a construct and I could try to kill this Bob. Ancestral Recall, huh? All right, well, I'm definitely making a construct here. And I'm pretty sure I'm getting a Black Lotus so that I can Citadel at some point. I could just get a Needle and name Saga. That might even just be better. It's pretty hard for them to answer a Needle. Like, I still have a Saga, but I think that's okay. I'm the one who has a construct, and I have a Citadel that I want to get. Like, I want to get a Black Lotus off this anyways, so. I'm holding this Ancestral until I see my opponent tap out a black mana, because I don't really want to get Bowmastered here. If my opponent casts a Bowmaster, then I'll cast my Ancestral. But if I can't... Ancestraling into a possible Bowmaster is just losing immediately, right? They kill my construct. Got the bait. They could have Spell Pierce. It's fine. This is my only opportunity, so... They had Force. Okay, so Force, Pitching Steel, Sabotage, Ancestral, Bowmaster, but I still have a construct. They've got 2 cards. They could maybe go get a Lurrus. My PO's pretty dead, but my Citadel will be alive. Maybe this Saga was premature. I don't know. Like, I didn't have an answer to their Saga. Their Saga's going to be worse than my Saga, so maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. They probably just buy Lurrus, right? Or they hold up hard cast negation, maybe. Lorien Revealed. Man, it'd be so good here, but I can't cast it into this Bowmaster. It's quite unfortunate. If they have a second Bowmaster, it's shoot and block. Then they would have attacked, right? I'll just hold this back. Yeah, well, I can't cast this Lorien Revealed here, so. They didn't. I feel like they have hard cast negation. I guess this means they get their own Black Lotus, and they can go Lurrus Lotus, Lurrus Confidant. Yeah, maybe this is just bad in general here. Buy Lurrus, play Lurrus, replay Lotus, hold up negation. It's quite bad for me. Okay, I'm starting to think I made a mistake. Oh, they went for top. Okay. I'm starting to think the Saga needle play was a mistake just because I had the Saga advantage. I just thought like there was like reasonable assumption that it could go really poorly for me if I like let them keep going Saga stuff. Also, they can like block with Lurrus and Lurrus block replay with Bowmaster. The fact that I have so many draw spells in my deck, kind of annoying. They also have just like Bowmaster on Welder, so like maybe I need to be boarding out Welders. Maybe like the answer is I should be boarding in Furies, right? That's something I can consider to do. I can like maybe change some Welders into some Furies. Don't know. They drew with their Sensei's top. And they played a Spell Bomb. Okay. They got all kinds of tech here. Sack Spell Bomb, redraw their Sensei's top. Don't care too much about that. I don't really want to play Lorien Revealed. But I don't think cycling it is very good either, so I am just going to draw Time Vault. Well, I guess we're on the make them have it, right? I think it's better to make them have it with a Black Lotus than a key. Because I can still draw key. Man. No, it's probably better to make them have it with a Manifold key. The problem is if they have negation and I get my key negated, right? Because like, they kind of played like they had negation this game. I'm going to go Citadel. I feel like my read is they have negation, so I don't want to get my Time Vault negated here. Okay, I did not get my Time Vault negated. Well, that means I could have won. Let's needle Sensei's top, even though I have a Sensei's top. Field of Ruin, Soul Guide is good. I do want a Saga, but I also want to keep going. So I think I'll just field this. And then I have a braid. So I can braid a Bowmaster now. That's really good. I should probably go to the next main phase. I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed so that I can keep going. I also might Lantern them so they can't Delve spell me. Another Abrade. I think I just want to keep another Abrade instead of continuing to go forward. It's really hard for them to push forward in this game. I think just having that is like the way this like goes badly is if my opponent draws an Ancestral Recall, right? But I mean, Citadel didn't win the game on the spot, but it sure did a pretty convincing job. Goblin Engineer. Sure. I'll put something in my yard. I don't think I'm going to put my key in my yard, though. I think I'll put an Astrolabe in my yard. Hey, look, key. Oh, and a PO, so I can draw into a Pyro. Sick. All right. Well, that went pretty well. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Let me know if you. Most people probably jam Vault Key there, but I kind of just felt like they had a negation. If I get my Vault Key negated, it's like more annoying for me than if I get my Citadel negated. And Citadel still pretty wins a lot of the games from there. So, okay. All right, on to round 2. Wizard, known for Dredge. I think this hand is worth keeping. Even in the blind. Obviously, I don't have Force of Will, but that's not Dredge. I have a very nice turn 1 Astrolabe. Use my Astrolabe to play Engineer or Welder. Probably Welder. And then I can go for the Welder kill on turn... Or I can go like Welder Engineered Citadel kill. Like, I have a lot of really powerful options. My opponent is even like incentivized to counter this Astrolabe. Ooh, Ruby as well. Alright, so I'm definitely... I think we're supposed to try to play around Spell Pierce, though. I'd love to draw a blue card off this. My opponent's probably on Oath, if I had to guess. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to get a Welder in play. Green, Lorien revealed. This has got to be Oath. Alright, well, I am going to go straight for Citadel. If they play an Oath, I'm just letting it resolve and just going for a win. If they play Show, I'll force Show. All right. Well, I mean, this is like as good a start as I can get, right? I played Welder, Engineer. Yeah, Oath is fine. Maybe I should, I don't know. I think it's like impossible to brick here, right? I weld out an Astrolabe. I can weld the Astrolabe in at any point. Like, do I want to just cast PO in response? Yeah, I do. I think my opponent has nothing, so. We went off. Banger. So from here, I can get a piece of Vault Key because I still actually have an Engineer in play, and then play all my things, cantrip off of a Labe. I could even just get my Sensei's Top off of my Engineer here. That might be even better. Yeah, I'm pretty much going to just draw through my deck and play Vault Key, which is typically how PO wins. All right, so my opponent is on Show and Tell Oath. Definitely like Pyroblast here because of Show and Tell. They could definitely play Null Rods in the sideboard. I was playing Null Rods near the end there. I don't think I am supposed to bring in Sphinx or Citadel. Maybe, or sorry, maybe I bring in Portal actually. Probably not. They could actually have had Besiju, I guess. Needle, no. I feel like Needle just names Oko and Besiju, but that's kind of good depending on how we play these games out. I feel like we're supposed to not play as many creatures now, though. I don't know, like, I don't think I can take out every creature. But I think I would like to minimize creatures against Oath. Especially playing, like, Field of Ruin. Lots of interesting choices here. I feel like I do want an answer to Null Rod in my deck, so I think I'm going to at least play an Abrade. I think it should be better than a Hercules. And then I guess I trim... What is the ratio? Is it 2 and 2? And just play 4 goblins? Or is it just like all engineers? Don't know the answer, to be honest. And I don't think I'm going to know the answer. I'm gonna just play 2 and 2. I just don't know. I just don't think we should play a bunch of goblins into like an actual Oath deck, right? Like this doesn't seem like a good move. I like this hand though. counter spells and tinker, I have the ability to turn my Saga into a basic with my Lorien revealed, and then my basic can play my Astrolabe. I like this a lot. Ancestral. I think I just counter Ancestral. It's unfortunate, but... Oh, they have Oath, too. I mean, that's a silly hand. Just gonna try to draw into my Tinker here. Feel like it's better than keeping the Lorien revealed. All right, well, I have it, so see if they have a show and tell Atraxa as well. Looks like they do. It's crazy. Maybe I shouldn't have countered Ancestral. Oh, Tinker. Okay. Well, Tinker could brick, I guess. They're not the best Tinker. They're not the best Citadel deck. Thoughtseize? No! My own tech is coming to bite me. Well, I have an Abrade in my deck, technically, but feel like we're in trouble. They could brick a ton, though. Oh, boy. It is what it is. I do have Triple Spirit. It's something. But I mean, like a simple Atraxa is beating the crap out of it. I don't know. Like, I countered Ancestral and I countered Oath, and then they played Tinker. Like, what am I going to do? Dismember. Interesting. 2 Dismembers? That's 8 life. Banger. Pio. Pio. To play Pio here, I need to pick up. I need to play my land. I probably can't make a construct. They're at 7 though, so they can't play Atraxa. It's got to be worse than making constructs. Like, what do they even hit here? They have like Oko to hit, but like, oh god, Black Lotus hard cast Atraxa. Show and tell. Yep. Oh. I guess I'm dead. Oh, wait. It didn't cost 8 life. It only cost 6 life because they were off the top. My opponent's thinking about dismembers for the goblins, but I boarded a lot of the goblins out. I think you probably just don't bring in dismember at all. Like, my opponent bricked, but like, I don't know. This deck does that. It's not the best at using Citadel, for sure. And my opponent gave me 3 spirits, so I don't know. Tough to say. I guess we'll get lucky here and take it. Opponent had turn 1 Ancestral Oath Orchard and then turn 2 Tinker, and it just didn't work out. This deck is super high variance, the Oath deck. So, all right, here for round 3 of 4, we got Jordan in the 2-0 bracket. I know Jordan's been interested in playing some shop, so it'll be interesting to see if that is the case. Our hand doesn't have a force, but it has a lot of mana. Saga top. I'm gonna probably keep it. It has a force, doesn't have a blue card, I should say. If it is bizarre, this hand gets a lot worse. It is bizarre. I was kind of hoping he had found a shops list that he wanted to play. Well, okay. In that case, we do need to immediately draw a blue card for force so that we can protect our Urza Saga. Oh, interesting. So is this the SagaVine? I've heard rumblings and rumors. That there may in fact be an Urza Saga deck or that is in Bizarre Agrovine. 2 hollow ones is a bit too many hollow ones, unfortunately. All right, did draw the blue card, and we drew a PO. Well, we're on the hopefully Saga makes things that beat these hollow ones. I'm not gonna play my Mana Crypt and spin. I think it's more worth to have no chance of taking 3 damage. We are in trouble. We are in trouble, that's for sure. If my opponent has a Wasteland, I don't think we can possibly win this game, but 2 hollow ones is so many hollow ones, chat. It's crazy. Let's see what happens, I guess. If we take 9, and then we play a Crypt, and we make a 1, 2, 3, 3. Ugh, it's not even enough. More likely, the way we win this game is by drawing a Mox and going Mana Crypt, Mox, Academy, PO. That kind of feels like a more likely way to win this game than making constructs. I guess if we drew a Time Walk, we could make a construct and Time Walk, and then make a construct, and then play... Yeah, I guess a Time Walk could lead us to a world where we win with constructs. But I feel like PO might be the way we push forward in this game, which means maybe I was supposed to just play this Mana Crypt and spin. I thought maybe we would be able to play the game on the ground, but it doesn't feel like we're going to be able to play this game on the ground. Though, of course, if my opponent has a Vigor, then I have to play the Force. And if my opponent has a Wasteland, then we're just screwed. So many things are bad here. So many things are bad. Losing the die roll in this game was extremely bad, too. If we were on the play, I think our constructs would be big enough. They just have Wasteland, too. Okay, well. The new, not good. Not good. All right, so we need to draw Moxen and play PO for the win. We drew Field of Ruin. That is notably not a Moxen. All right, well. I need help here. This is a draw 3, but dead on board, so. Okay, drawing multiple Astrolabes is not ideal. If there's a Time Walk here, we have a chance. Oh, I guess there has to be a Time Walk on the top, because... Spinning is probably better, because I can hit Ancestral. Tinka. 4. Oh, they have exactly. Oh, no, they don't have 11. They have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 damage. Man, I guess we were kind of close to Tinker, but not really. My opponent just simply had way too much free damage on the play. If I'm on the play of this game, I think we do win by pretty easily, actually. All right. So I think this is Fury and a Braid, and then Sphinx, and then we take out Citadel, Negation, and Force, and then we still kind of want Needle. I don't think we want Soul Guide though. Just Needles. Though Needles won't be protected from Vigor. It's kind of unfortunate, but I think that's just what's going to have to happen. And I actually think we just like trim on these POs. Well, I guess we don't really need a probe. So, Misstep's still good though. Trimming on PO here makes sense. So we're just going to play kind of red artifact. I mean, I assume my opponent is on 4 Collector Roof. Agrovine stuff. I definitely could see like wanting to keep in Fluster. I mean, I don't have any Flusters in my deck, but if I had Flusters, I'd probably keep in Fluster maybe for Vigor. It's probably not worth it. I don't know. I'm just like bringing in a bunch of red cards, and I feel like the only way to take this stuff out is to take out these forces, and forces not even that good anyways. Like, what are we like really countering? We're countering vigor. That's the best one, and then we're sometimes countering oof, sometimes countering hollow one. Yeah, not sure if it's just normal AgriVine or there's some spicy stuff, but well, this is a classic Astrolabe example where we can't keep this hand. If this Astrolabe was castable, this hand would be very good, but this one is interesting. Definitely keeping. Don't know what we're doing with this hand, to be honest, because I don't have artifact to weld. um. Oh. Welda. Welda. Feel like we're supposed to put an Astrolabe in our yard over a Sphinx that would just win the game off of any artifact. I'm gonna put an Astrolabe in my yard because I feel like we need card advantage. Yeah, I don't know if this is enough, to be honest. Double Vengevine? Uh-oh. Maybe I should have just put a Sphinx in my yard. Ugh. Well, if my Saga goes off, that would help. I feel like I'm just gonna get wastelanded, though. God, I feel like I was just supposed to put the Sphinx in my yard. My opponent ever pitches an artifact, I can weld this hollow one out, but they have a wasteland. Yep. Saga things. All right. Can I get a Mox? I mean, they could even have a Vigor and stop this, I guess. Field of Ruin. I'm not even attacking. Like, they can just activate and have Root Wallows or something. Things are bad. Things are very bad. Does this hand not a keep? Seemed fine. Maybe I just had to go Sphinx and try to hope. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to put the Sphinx in play anyways, but... Yeah, if they had a Vigor, I have double Welder. I probably am supposed to just get Sphinx. Seiju Null Rod Oof. I mean, I like my strategy if that's what my opponent's doing. Just straight up AgriVine, 8 oofs. No second land. I drew my Sphinx, which I can't get out of my hand at all. Of course. Of course. All right, so I can weld out... Oh, I should have welded out this hollow one for a Null Rod. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't even think about Null Rod being an artifact. I mean, the minute they hit a hollow one in an oof or a hollow one in a hollow anything, we just die, right? Oh, there's a serum powder. Yeah, so Root Wallow, hollow one, bring back 2 Vengevines, kill me. It's so frustrating. Ah, what was I supposed to do, really? Drawing Sphinx here is just so silly. All right, with this Lotus Petal on the stack, I'm going to weld the hollow one into a Null Rod so that they can't cast a spell with this Lotus Petal. All right, did I just stop Vengevines? That's really big. All right, I'm going to weld this petal into a powder. And then at some point I can consider getting rid of this Null Rod if I need to. Land. Come on, give me anything. Land, Lorien, artifact. Just nothing. It's not helping. Just gonna getting bullied by Bazaar here. I don't think I have any way to get the Sphinx out of my hand either, and that's like my best way to stabilize in this game. The good news is Labe will always draw me cards, but yeah, like at any point I can change this Null Rod back into something else. I only have 2 cards in hand. I feel like I could just change this Null Rod into a Serum Powder, like, because these are not casting anything. They have a lot of artifacts in their yard. Artifact. Something. Help. No, Justin! Justin, don't say artifact! Oh, I need a Lorien or basic. My God. All right, at least the game is not over yet, because like they've had these 2 Vengevines in their yard the whole game, but I mean the cool thing now is I have Astrolabe loops. If I get my Astrolabe in play. I feel like we're just straight up winning if we draw anything. The problem is if they return these Vengevines before I draw things that go into play. Triple Vengevine. All right, come on. I have a Soul Guide. I don't have a Soul Guide in my deck, so I need like a needle on this Bazaar, right? Come on, Justin, there's so many cards. Field of Ruin number 2! No! I guess that also technically deals with a Bazaar at some point in life. This is so frustrating. No. Please, mercy. No, they hit a Root Walla. They're gonna hit a hollow one and return triple Vengevine. No! This is so sad. I'm just dead. I'm just straight up dead. What a disappointing way to end this perfect run. Yeah, I chump block 1. There's a Soul Ring in this deck? They are playing the stupid Saga version. God, you can just do anything with this deck and it doesn't matter because it's so... Bazaar is so silly. I also took 4 damage for no reason in this game, so it's kind of my own fault, right? Crazy. All right, so start off by hitting this Bazaar with a Field of Ruin. That gets me the basic mountain. The basic mountain gets me the Astrolabe. This game is still winnable, I think. Because I do have a Lotus. Oh, even better. All right, so I play a Ruby. I think I start by welding a Astrolabe into an Astrolabe. I can get a Lotus at some point too if I need to. All right, so now I weld this Astrolabe into a Lotus. If I had a Sphinx, I could put the Sphinx in my yard. And now I time walk. So I'm one turn away from Vault Key, but I can't get another turn. So is it better to engineer something? Or is it better to just abrade a Vengevine? If I had a Sphinx, I would easily just put the Sphinx in my yard and then weld the Sphinx into play, and we would easily win the game. But I drew the Sphinx, and I don't have access to Citadel or Phyrexia, Portal to Phyrexia. I no longer need a needle because I finally drew Field of Ruin. So does it just put Time Vault in my yard? But how do I get advance? I mean, I guess an engineer is a blocker no matter what, right? So just play an engineer. I just need to make 3 blockers. Does it put a Time Vault? It does put a Time Vault in my yard, right? It doesn't put... Yeah, it just puts a Time Vault in my yard. Okay. I have enough to make a blocker and abrade something, so... I think we're just fine. I think we're winning this game, actually, which is crazy. Can actually... Oh, wait. Do I have hard cast Sphinx? Is hard cast Sphinx better? Okay, so hold on. So if I load a mana with my Ruby, and then I make black mana with my Lotus. If I use my Field of Ruin and make a construct, and then I make black mana with my Lotus here, white mana with my Lotus there. No, sorry. I have to think about this. I need to swap. So if I make construct and I swap the construct for an Astrolabe, and then I make my Ruby into a Lotus. So that is 1 mana, 4 mana. I turn my Astrolabe into black mana. So it's still 4 mana of 2 colors. And then I turn my Astrolabe into a Lotus. That's 8 mana of 3 colors. And then my opponent would have to have exactly land Besiege You. So I think I can. All right. Actually, the first thing I should do is I should start by just swapping this into an Astrolabe. I'll still... I mean, I have enough blockers right now where I'm making a chump block, returning Time Vault, and I'm Vault Keying them. Is that better? I mean, I can still do that. Okay, so do this. And I swap this for an Astrolabe. Ancestral. I don't know if I can cast that. Make a construct. I swap this for a Lotus. I have just enough, right? I only have 8. All right. Swap this for a Lotus. White mana, or blue mana. White mana. Swap, Lotus, black mana, 8. Yeah. All right, we're doing it. Swap for a black Lotus. Blue mana. Black mana. Oh no, I'm short! Because this costs a mana. No! Forgot this cost a mana. All right, so I'm one short because I need to swap using an engineer. Okay. Okay, this is also one short? Now I have Tinker for key, and I can swap into Vault, but I'm 1 mana short. I have 2 braids though, so I can abrade, and block. I guess that's the best. My blocking line was totally fine. If they have like land pump, I die, I guess, but what can I do? Wow, I tried really hard to throw this game. Summoning Spirit Guide? Elvish Spirit Guide? I guess they can play a Null Rod. I gotta just swap the Null Rod out. All right, so I guess we win, so crazy. I guess they could still have a figure. Wow. Oh, I'm so lucky. So, okay. So yeah, I mean, I had a pretty easy block and bolt, braid, and that line would have been fine. My opponent could have killed me here if they drew a green land. But they did not. They have a lot of artifacts in their deck. Tons of null rods. Okay, so I gotta think about this for a second. Do I want access to like a portal? I think I do want access to a portal. Do I want access to a lantern? I still don't think I want access to a lantern. I still think a lantern's kind of bad. I mean, these POs are just garbage, right? They have way too much stuff. So it's probably better to just have a lantern anyways. Just give myself all the options. I mean, maybe I draw them and I look silly, but this just seems like how we're playing this game out, so. They have 8 null rods in their deck. They have 4 collector roof and 4, what's it called? 4 null rods, so. And they have serum powder, huh? Serum powder, needle. Interesting. They have vigor. This hand looks like a keep to me. Oh, God, I have my one volcanic island and my Astrolabe. Maybe this hand is not a keep. This hand actually doesn't look like a keep to me. Though Furies are nice. I'm going to mulligan this hand. Okay, this hand looks a lot better. Keep. I'm going to put the Astrolabe on the bottom. I mean, this hand's pretty weak to vigor. But... Okay, so they are Saga gaming. All right, interesting. Cool. Haywire Might. That's a good one. Crazy. Well, I mean, I have a Welder. Welder versus their construct plan looks like really, really strong. They have too many artifacts to put in their yard. I'm not going to name Bazaar. I'm going to name Urza's Saga. I obviously could Vigor or Braid something, but I think it's better for me to just get the Welder going. Obviously, they can like play a green land and kill this needle, but I'm not really worried about that. They have Vigor, it looks like. Vigor's really good against me, though, because Vigor means I don't have an artifact for my Engineer and Welder. Because if I was left to my own devices here, I could Engineer for a Sphinx or something, right? Okay. Again, at any point, I can just kill this Haywire Might and swap out constructs and stuff, so... my best draw here is, without a doubt, a... Wow, the Yavimaya, sick. My best draw here, without a doubt, is Mox. It lets me play Engineer and try to Weld right now. I drew another Abrade. All right, I think I just have to wait here. Don't think I'm going to Abrade just the Haywire Might. This is definitely bad because they get 5/5s. Oh, God, they can just get a needle on my Welder. No, they have a needle in their yard. I don't know if they have another needle. A needle is in exile. So they might not even have a second needle. Okay, they just got Ruby. Red Ruby. Interesting. Okay, take 1,000,000. I do need to hit a land here, right? I feel like a Braid is like a really strong right now. Box. Okay, so they have... Oh boy. So a problem. If they have a third Vigor green card or a Beseiju, that would interrupt my Weld. So I think it's better if I simply Fury. If I Fury 3 and 1. And then I Abrade the Ruby. That will kill 2 artifacts. And then I can, and then this one will die. And then I could swap it for a Ruby. So I have to Fury first so I don't get my Sapphire killed for no reason. Okay, so Fury. Pitch a Braid. Deal 1 and 3. Go 1 and 3. They have a dismember for my welder. No. Okay. This is still fine because I can just abrade the other construct. Okay. Okay. I've destroyed everything my opponent has. Okay. Close game. Wild game. They have 1,000,000 mana. 3 cards in hand. They had a Besage too. Okay, so I like my line. This is a hard cast hollow one. Hard cast Vengevine. Sure. That's really good here. It's really, really good here. Citadel. I immediately drew Citadel. Yeah. All right. With this, I think we're just supposed to put... It's probably Labe, because we need to draw cards. Man, that Dismember and Besage You, huh? I really had no chance. All right, I go to 5. If they don't have a creature here, we're okay. They have a creature. They have a Rootwalla. No, now I can't even do it on my turn. Drew the Fury. So if I hit a red card, I think I just need to pass. Because I think I need to block. It's better to block the Rootwalla. Yeah. I mean, I can't beat anything, actually, so I just... This is quite bad. All right. Well, I need another answer to a Vengevine, and they can't have a creature. Things are bad. Even if they have like a little Rootwalla, it's gonna have the ability to pump too. They have a freaking Bazaar? All right. Well, I need an answer to something. Red card, creature, Soul Ring is just not it, huh? Soul Ring is not it. Oh, what a frustrating game. It's too much. They had too many things. I mean, this Citadel could have been, what, a Force or something? Maybe. A PO. PO doesn't even get me there. Sad. So sad. the Saga AggroVine. Very funny. I don't think that this SagaVine thing solves any of the problems of AggroVine, really. But it's pretty funny to watch. Sweet. All right, we did not get the 4-0, but let's try to get a 3-1. I think our deck is pretty cool. We were very close, and there's possibly I missed some sweet opportunities in the last round to squeak out a win. Obviously, the Sphinx play was not ideal. got lucky enough to have a nice game 3 though. So That was pretty fun, though. It's pretty interesting to see a aggro Vine deck with some sagas in it. So I have chosen to play first. My opponent is not here yet, but if that means they probably are on Lurrus, so we get another Lurrus matchup. I do think our Lurrus matchup looks pretty damn good. If I had to guess, that's probably one of our better matchups. Any kind of value engine grinding deck can really, really prey on those Lurrus Saga control decks. Looks like a keep to me. I think this is just interesting. If I didn't know my opponent was on Lurrus, it's possible we would go Welder Go, because long-term grinding engine, but because my opponent is on Lurrus, they could have Bowmaster. If I get my Welder Bowmastered, it's just like it's like the end of the world, right? Obviously, I have Force, but I'd rather not have to force a Bowmaster. It seems like a pretty rough use of Force. Not that I'm keeping Force in this matchup anyways. So I think the answer here is going to be Saga, Jet, Go. Playing the Jet, because if they're on Lavinia and they play turn on Lavinia, then I can't play my Jet. So if they wasteland me, then it's fine. We develop with a Welder next turn. If they play like their own Saga, we have Field of Ruin active, so... Right, where are you at, opponent? What are we thinking about? It's turn 1 in my upkeep, so we're not thinking about anything. Let's play Magic. All right, let's begin. Saga obviously can't defend against Vigor. I mean, we can't defend against Vigor with Force, but like I don't think my opponent will be on Vigor if they're on Lurrus. Though it is a thing to be worried about in the future. I really do think that there's probably a very reasonable green Lurrus deck. Right now, that you can see some people are on blue-white or blue-black splashing just Haywire Might, which I like a lot as well. Haywire Might is just a super powerful card off of like one tropical. I like that. It's a good move, a nice direction, I think. All right, Petal. Strip Mine. Rest in peace, Saga Gaming. Pass. All right, second Welder. Let's get a Welder going. I don't have any artifacts in my yard yet, though. It's kind of a big reason you play 4 Engineer. Don't actually have a lot of things that are sacking my artifacts. What is this? Fatal Push? Ancestral? Ancestral. All right, well, I'll just force it. My opponent has a negation. They have a negation. What am I going to do? Strip Mine, Petal. I mean, one of the ways to negate... Strip Mine, Petal, Ancestral, negation backup. Yeah, I mean, you got it. You got it. It's a powerful start. Strand. Blue-black or blue-white? Kind of looks like blue-white. Yeah, there was a Spreading Seas as well. Swords to Plowshares. All right, well... Getting my Welder Swords to Plowshares is a lot better than getting my Welder Bowmastered. So we'll take a Swords to Plowshares. We'll send the Goblin to the fields. My opponent is only 3 cards ahead of me. No problem, right? I have to hold this Field of Ruin probably for an Urza Saga. I don't know if that means I'll play it or not. Probably play it. We are drawing a card. Yeah, it just is what it is. Okay, I draw. Maybe. I'll do my best, chat, to cut out the downtimes in this round. I've been trying to stop and start recording, but it is what it is. I said that twice now. I guess the last time I said it was 4 minutes ago, but Unfortunately, drew a mountain, so we're just on the welder life. I'm gonna hide this field. I don't know. This welder doesn't do anything because I don't have any artifacts. All my things have been answered. It's like really hard to play a grinding control game when your opponent casts Ancestral on turn 1, even if they used a Lotus Petal. All right, so we do have a Saga. They don't have a basic yet, though, so probably guess they get them a basic. PO. This isn't even the worst PO for 2 here. I mean, first we need to hit this thing, though. All right, go get an island. Pass the turn. I don't really know what my path in this game looks like. They gonna swords this? What is this? Oh, they have dig through time? I just fixed them for dig through time mana? That's hilarious. That is fucking so funny. I guess I should have done this on their upkeep. I just wanted to play faster and they get F6s in because my opponent's been taking a couple minutes between actions, but I was instantly punished for my hubris. Now my opponent gets to simply play the game better and everyone is unhappy. Well, my opponent's not unhappy. I'm unhappy. Chat will probably be unhappy. They didn't even get rid of the artifacts. I can weld in. Bold play. It's so bold. It's such a bold play for my opponent who's playing a Saga deck to just be like, yeah, I'm going to leave the 2 things in my yard, actually. All right, whatever. Saga Gaming. I probably was supposed to change the Pearl into a Petal so that I have a permanent that I can bring in for these Saga tokens, actually. Maybe I'll do that next turn. I can technically PO and save my things at some point here if I want to do that as well. Because I hit my 4th land drop thanks to Field of Ruin not putting me down a land. So that's cute. So, I mean, are they going to put Lurrus in hand? Probably not. Bobble Life. I mean, I think we're pretty disadvantaged from here, but it's still possible that we can win. Yeah, get rowdy, Lavinia. 18. All right, so I'm going to weld this Pearl into a Petal. And I'm not going to PO anything. What is this? Oh, make a construct now? Yeah, I guess so. Soul Ring. All right, well, I'm making constructs, so I'm not upset about this current situation. And I have an active welder. I can kill a construct at any moment here. You got it. Negation, pitch, spell pierce. It does make my construct smaller. It means I can't PO. Or can't PO as well. My PO is actually starting to look pretty good. So in case they have a needle in their main, I have to weld this out for a pearl. And I need to make a construct. I have to play around a possible main needle. All right, so now they buy Lurrus. Okay. Can't play Lurrus yet. This attack means they have another Lavinia, right? I'll just take 2. Never making this trade. Another PO. So I can get a Mana Vault. I should probably have used my red mana. Or I can Needle Bobble. That actually might even be better. They can still return these baubles, which will stop me from killing construct tokens, but... Alright, so I have 2 4/4s against Lurrus. Not bad. At some point, I can pick up things if I need to. Though picking up things if they have both baubles in play. Come on with the repeal. Oh, it's so good. This build, blue-white is just so much better than blue-black, right? Like, has just so many better... I mean, you could play these cards in blue-black, I guess. Just feels like they have so many more cards that matter. I guess this means that the needle is not getting repealed, though. So... They should probably bring back the other bauble so that I can't weld. Okay, they played a bauble from hand. Okay, all right. We did lose 2 lands there, so now we can't cast PO. Imagine if I had God, I wish I had traded with this Lavinia. If I had like tried to PO with a Manifold and I like lost my Saga, God, it would have been so bad. So here I would normally just get a Citadel, but I can't do that because all the spells will just get countered. Though I guess I can play my lands off the top. I think it's better for me to just get a Lebe going. All right, so Lebe, draw, Saga, sick. All right, I think we're currently winning this game, which that feels impossible. But it does seem like that's what's currently happening. They drew the swords for my welder. Okay, I can still weld with this thing, though. And they replayed their baubles. They have all their baubles. If they ever find Seal of Cleansing, we just immediately lose the game, but... It is what it is. Another Lebe. Man, I want to cast this Lebe. It's got to be worse than making a construct, though. I'm going to cast the Lebe. No one can stop me. I guess they can counter it if they want. I don't know. I think it's fine. If they counter it, then I'm just labing for Lebe, and obviously I'm not getting a construct this turn, but I think that's fine. I guess if they negate it, that's bad, but... I don't know. I need to advance this. I guess if making a Saga token is advancing this game, Justin. Just fucking make Saga tokens. I can't stop myself, chat. I see draw card and I immediately, my brain goes blank. Everything just disappears. All my thoughts inside of my head go away. And I cast this thing that says draw card. That's just how it works. I can't make functionally good construct plays if I... If this resolves and I draw a land, I can go get my jet back. It's in at 0 mana. If this doesn't resolve, I can change my Lebe into a Lebe. If it doesn't get resolved and it doesn't get negated, if it gets like forced, I can swap this Lebe into... Well, I guess swapping a Lebe into a Lebe doesn't actually get me a mana. I could draw a land still. I don't know. It's pretty good for my opponent to negate this, to be honest, because... I mean, it is a lot of value, but is it enough value to concede? It's pretty good for my opponent to negate this, so I can't loop Astrolabes. Like, looping an Astrolabe with an Astrolabe is an engine. It's like a Lurrus Bauble, almost. All right, would I have drawn a land? I would have drawn a Lorien Revealed, which is notably not a land. It is a land, so it's going to get me closer to POing. But it's not actually a land for Saga tokens. Anyways, I won the game, which obviously everyone was going to predict after that start, right? Everyone knew I was going to win that game for sure. Again, I like the idea of just... I don't need forces in this matchup. They seem like they suck. Bring in Blast, Blast, Abrade, 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 Lantern, Needle. Yeah, that seems like a banger for sure. I think I like PO here, though. Fury... I think we were good with just a Braid. There's a world where we could bring in Portal here. And now we have like Blast and a Braid to beat Lavinia. We shouldn't have to worry about that too much. I kind of like the idea of having access to Portal as well. So maybe I'll take Portal and I'll take out Opal. Like, I'm a little worried. I guess like a small amount worried about having too many of my things removed. I don't know. This is how I want to game, though. All right, game 2. My hand, it's got a lot going for it. I like it. Opponent is at least on a mulligan to 6. I've got 2 Saga answers here. And I even have turn 1 Saga answer into a Welder, which is kind of sick. So I'm pretty happy with this hand. If my opponent were like, counter my Soul Ring, then I would have the ability to still play a Needle on Saga if I wanted to. Also, like Needle on Saga, obviously I have Sagas and they're important in my deck, but I can always Welder out my own Needle too. So I think being able to Needle Saga in the Saga Mirror is actually like at its best for my deck in comparison to some other decks. So this deck's really cool, actually. I do think that having access to Citadel and Fury and Portal and Sphinx is worth not being a Lurrus deck. Like, this deck is pretty similar in construction. Like, you could probably build a kind of a similar looking like Turbo Vault Key deck, right? I don't know. Like, the ability to Lurrus back a Vault Key is really strong, but we do have 8 Welders, so. All right, well, I don't really know what's going on. My opponent must have had other things that were more interesting than playing out this match of Magic. But I'm really sad because I thought this was like a pretty interesting hand to play against Lurrus. But they are like 9 minutes down on clock right now, and I think they're off it. So it is what it is. I can only show you the Magic that is put in front of me. I cannot choose what my opponents do. So hopefully this was still enjoyable. I had a good time. I thought this deck was really cool. I definitely made some mistakes along the way, but I love playing Arcum's Astrolabe. If I can find some like ways to play Arcum's Astrolabe, I will. I think Field of Ruin is like legitimately kind of interesting right now. Wasteland has some downsides, and Field of Ruin kind of makes up for some of them. Obviously, Field of Ruin is like much worse than Wasteland, right? You need the 2 mana, but getting basics is broken. Opponents' decks don't have that many basics. I don't know. I'm probably gonna experiment a little bit more with more Astrolabe Field of Ruin shells. If you are a longtime viewer of this channel, you may remember I have a video of a Snow Oath deck from KFC, the Oath pilot in Japan, who plays like Channel and Astrolabe and Field of Ruin Oath decks with like Hullbreaker Horror and Emrakul. So maybe we revisit the old Field of Ruin Astrolabe Oath deck. That could be pretty fun. There are a lot of creatures running around right now. Oath is pretty sweet, and if we play some real Oath creatures like Atraxa, maybe that makes all the difference. So I think more Astrolabe and more Field of Ruin content probably coming up on this channel in Vintage in the future. So make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for gameplay videos here on this YouTube channel. I will see you then.